How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be going over a day in the lab. Before we do that, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. My name is Andy Oliveira, and I go to the University of Texas at San Antonio, and I'm currently a senior.
Hello guys, my name is Ahmad Tantish. My home institution is Texas University. My major is biochemistry, and I am going into my senior year.
And my name is Mackenzie Gray. I go to Louisiana Tech University. My major is chemistry, and I am about to be a senior.
All right, so before we really get into our day, we just want to kind of briefly go over what it is we do in our research labs. So I can start. So my research focuses on the synthesis of divalent lanthanide iodides through ball milling. And I'm usually just doing ball milling reactions and trying to hit those synthetic pathways that I want.
Okay, for my research, we pretty much do a quantifying of energy dissipation in powders. Of course, different powders, but the powders I'm working with is barbituric acid and vanillin. And I use an instrument universal tester just to measure the energy, the force, and the time that is going into the powder.
And I'm currently working on copper azide alkyne cycloaddition click reactions, which CuAAC is short for. For the CuAAC reactions is traditionally made through organic solvent methods, and I'm trying to work on mechanochemical methods like ball milling, where it minimizes the amount of solvent used, so it drastically cuts down the waste and also the runtime that we found.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get started. So I usually get into the lab around 9 to 9:30. From there, I talk to some of the graduate students there about whatever plans we may have for the day. Due to me doing ball milling, I have to do a lot of grinding on metals, and usually that can take from 30 minutes to almost 2 hours. So I work with a lot of hard metals, hard materials. Once I do that, I usually get some iodine, grind it up in a mortar and pestle, and then take it to a ball milling jar, add them in, add our media or our beads, and then we program the ball mill, and then we can go ahead and get that running. And that usually runs for about 6 to 12 hours. So the next day I usually come in, get the powder from the jar, extract it with hexanes, then we take it down to the powder X-ray diffraction room, run a powder on it, index it with any known samples, and then from there we can go and characterize it the best we can. And I've had a lot of success with samarium diiodide. We're working on dysprosium, neodymium, gadolinium, and praseodymium right now, so we're making some good progress.
For me, it's kind of complicated because I am in 2 different buildings, and depending if the instrument I'm using is available, I'll start my day there. I go in at 10, I book the instrument for 2 hours, I have my reactants there, and I just record the displacement and force. And then with that data, I go plot it on Excel. And then I go back to the office and I just work on another project, which is creating an instrument where we can drop a ball from a recorded height and see how much energy is going into the powder that we're dropping the ball on.
So I am using different reagents such as phenolacetylene, benzyl bromide, copper component, an azide component, and different additives. All of these are considered toxic in their own ways, so I have to be very cautious and handle them all with care, usually by wearing a gas mask to prevent inhalation, wearing a lab coat, and also wearing gloves because safety is very important in the lab. Once I get all of those components together in the specific jars that go with the different ball mills, either the mixer mill, MM400, or the planetary ball mill, and these work differently depending on how they move the balls around inside of the jar. The MM400 goes side to side at a very fast frequency, and the planetary ball mill rotates the jar circular, like the Earth rotates the sun, and it moves the balls inside on the side of the vials rather than back and forth on the ends of the vials. These go for sometimes an hour, sometimes up to 5. I usually take them out, get an NMR sample as fast as I can because some of our product actually ends up evaporating in human atmosphere. And as I'm waiting for the NMR results, I usually end up just cleaning jars, sometimes even working on things in the office.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you got something fun out of that, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
See you later.